Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Elon Musk's company, Neuralink, and how their technology is going to change the world forever. Let's get right into it. So let's talk about what is Neuralink and what's its purpose. So Neuralink's ultimate goal is to connect humans and machines and put them together. And as one article states, it's to try to keep humans on pace with artificial intelligence. Let's debunk a couple of theories and thoughts from the public that they think Elon Musk is trying to do with Neuralink. Number one, Elon Musk is not trying to use a brain chip to control you or send data to the government. Number two, this chip is not trying to make humans smarter, but just deal with certain disorders and diseases and help with cognitive ability to stay on pace with artificial intelligence and to use certain artificial intelligence to enhance certain experiences, but not make you smarter. So let's look at how a brain would work with Neuralink and without Neuralink. So with Neuralink, the brain would receive some signal or some information and outsource that information, get new sensory output or new sensory information, and then feed that back into the brain, and then there's a response either in speech or in behavior. Without Neuralink, we get new sensory information and that's just fed back into the brain processes it. So we have to think about Neuralink like an alternative processor. As the brain acts as the processor of our body, Neuralink is an attachment to that processor. So it makes it faster and more efficient. To be honestly realistic, this technology will not be able to fully take over someone's brain for at least a decade or two. As Elon Musk himself even said that the technology is slowly progressing, but it won't be something super advanced in the next 5 years. And that's logical, as this technology involves aspects of ethics, software that hasn't been developed yet, hardware that hasn't developed yet, and also the process of actually putting this implant into someone's brain requires a lot of regulation, work, and development of certain technologies. So it's going to be a while until you see someone talking in 13 languages they've never talked in because of Neuralink. So just be realistic. Musk's ultimate goal is to have some kind of symbiosis between artificial intelligence and humans, in which both are taking advantage of each other and using each other to output the best results for a human, or output the most effective communication, intelligence, etc. But we have to think, is this really what we want? Let's dive a little bit more into the ethics of Neuralink and how this could affect our future in positive and negative ways. The positive here are endless, but we also have to talk about the negatives because those are very important. So number one, I encourage you guys to read this article about the ethics of neurotechnology, but this is what it is boiled down. There are a lot of social aspects that we have to take into account, and ethics of neurotechnology are not developed because we haven't had many brain implants go to market. In fact, we've had 0 brain implants actually gone to market and successfully developed and implanted into a wide range of consumers' brains. And I know that's a scary thought, and that's why I'm talking about this video, because I feel like it's really important not only for the public to understand the positives, but also to be educated. I'm not trying to say that Neuralink is a bad technology, but if we don't know what it is and we don't know that it's coming, it's going to be very hard to make that assessment when you see certain benefits, but you don't really see the drawbacks because of the media perceiving it in a certain light. So simply put, the technology works like there's this microchip, which is the interface that has connected to it electrodes, and these electrodes are sending electrical signals to the brain in certain areas of the brain. And once the brain is stimulated in a certain frequency in a certain area, it'll affect the function of the brain, and that's how we're able to get outside sensory input as we're stimulating the brain with certain frequencies of electricity with electrodes through the Neuralink technology. Musk has said that this transfer from an outside source into electrodes, into an electrical current, is very lossy, meaning that there's a lot to be lost, a lot to not be translated in the process. And that's something that we really have to consider looking at Neuralink, that there's a long time until we'll be able to look at this technology and say it's perfectly working, perfectly functioning. There are also a lot of psychological aspects that we have to take into consideration as how this Neuralink technology might affect someone's psychological state. How could it affect depression? Curing certain cognitive diseases might affect the function of certain parts of the brain, and it might affect communication in a negative way. We have a huge amount of considerations that we have to make before this can be regulated. And that's why all this regulation is good for stuff like brain implants, because brain implants are literally messing with the chemicals in someone's brain. And to me, that sounds very, very dangerous. So in this aspect of technology, we really need to be strict on regulation, learn about the technology, and be positive about the technology, because this technology, literally communicating with a brain outside of the brain with a computer interface or some other technological interface, is something that in the 80s or 90s seemed impossible. It seemed something that we would do 300, 400 years ago. And while the technology is not fully developed, I can say that in the next 30 and 40 years, we're going to see this coming in the news a lot more, and we're going to see Elon Musk definitely developing the technology a lot more. And at that, I'd like to say, if you like this video, please make sure to subscribe and like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Leave comments what you think about the technology. Peace.